children was playing tag on the school playground when Thomas caught up with Sandy and tagged her a little harder than normal, causing Sandy to fall to the ground and scrape her little knee. Sandy was in pain as she went to inform the teacher that Thomas had pushed her to the ground. All the while, Thomas' plea for forgiveness went unheard. We have all been like Sandy, hurt and in pain at some point in our lives. And just like Thomas, we have all caused someone hurt, whether intentionally or unintentionally. In both occurrences, forgiveness is the answer. Let's talk about one of the things that may stand in the way of forgiveness: hurt. The American Heritage College Dictionary defined hurt as to cause physical damage or pain to cause emotional or mental suffering to. We have all known the feeling of pain as a result of physical injury or emotional distress. It's normal. Yet, we have a choice to forgive or not to forgive the person or persons that may have caused us the pain. I, for one, have learned both what harms come from not forgiving and the sweet rewards that follows forgiveness. One of the hurts I had to deal with in my life was the fact that I had never known my biological father. And I didn't know my mother until I was 5 years old and was restored in the home at that time. I had so many questions and so few answers. My heart was in pain. To make matters worse, my mother spent hardly any time with me, even after the fact that I was introduced back into the home. She had built a relationship and a bond with my older siblings, and she spent a lot of time with them. When it came to my time, she was exhausted. To make matters even worse, my siblings denied me as their brother for the first year. I starved and craved for family acceptance. Years had passed, and I became grown. And yet at times I would remind my mother of the pain and the hurts that was caused because of the decisions that she had made early on in my life. The damage was done. The fact of the matter was that there was nothing that my mother could do at that time. There was nothing she could say. There was nothing she could do to turn back the hand of time. I was grown. I was living on my own. I was yet in pain from the incidents that had occurred when I was a little boy. I decided that I would never let another woman hurt me again. And it showed in relationship that I tried to have. It showed in relationships that I wanted to work, that I was in pain. And at some point in my life, I got to the point where I said I did not want to go on with that pain, with the anger that was on the inside. And while attending church, I heard a sermon preached from the Bible. It was the chapter of St. Matthew's, the 18th chapter, and the 21st and 22nd verse. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Jesus said unto him, I say, not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Jesus was showing how important it was to forgive. In the Journal of Social Philosophy, the author Jessica Wolfendale give her account of 2 types of forgiveness. One was conditional, and the other was unconditional. I, for one, did not want to have anything to do with conditional forgiveness, which, as Jessica put it, would have been based on the severity of the offense and the attitude and the behavior of the offender. I had searched real hard and realized I wanted to let the past go. But now I didn't know how. But one day I decided to forgive. And I called my mother and I asked my mother to forgive me for holding years of grudges. And I informed her that, Mom, that I forgive you, whether you hurt me intentionally or unintentionally. And I felt a great big weight lift up off my shoulder. I felt free. Now, I talk to my mother at least 3 times a week. I love on my mother. There's things I've done that I would not have done before I forgave her. I've come to my mother's aid time and time again throughout the years. Finally, like Sandy, everyone has been hurt at least one time in their lives. And as mentioned earlier, hurt is a result of someone being in pain because of physical or mental harm. Everett Worthington Jr. wrote in the Journal of Counseling and Development that almost everyone is unforgiving at times. But everyone, including Sandy, must have forgiveness of heart, because not forgiving brings far more harm and lasting pains that will affect the quality of our lives and may increase depression and other illness as a result. So please, please forgive and live a healthy and prosperous life.